The Golden Globes were last night, and we will talk about the winners in our general wrap-up later, so stay tuned for that video. But what most people are talking about this morning is Meryl Streep's speech when she accepted her Cecil B. DeMille Award. Watch the speech.
An actor's only job is to enter the lives of people who are different from us and let you feel what that feels like. And there were many, many, many powerful performances this year that did exactly that. Breathtaking, compassionate work. But there was one performance this year that stunned me. It sank its hooks in my heart. Not because it was good. There was nothing good about it. But it was effective and it did its job. It made its intended audience laugh and show their teeth. It was that moment when the person asking to sit in the most respected seat in our country imitated a disabled reporter. Someone he outranked in privilege, power, and the capacity to fight back. It kind of broke my heart when I saw it, and I still can't get it out of my head because it wasn't in a movie. It was real life. And this instinct to humiliate, when it's modeled by someone in the public platform, by someone powerful, it filters down into everybody's life because it kind of gives permission for other people to do the same thing. Disrespect invites disrespect. Violence incites violence. When the powerful use their position to bully others, we all lose.
All right. Wow. And you know who had to respond to her speech? President-elect Donald J. Trump. He tweeted, Meryl Streep, one of the most overrated actresses in Hollywood, doesn't know me, but attacked last night at the Golden Globes. She is a Hillary flunky who lost big for the 100th time. I never mocked a disabled reporter, would never do that, but simply showed him groveling when he totally changed a 16-year-old story that he had written in order to make me look bad. Just more very dishonest media. Thoughts, 5 words or less.
Mic drop Meryl.
That's all.
Meryl. No talent, ass clown.
Mamma Mia, I love her. I wanted to try and incorporate Death Becomes Her because it's one of my favorite Meryl movies, and they showed it in her montage, and then it trended last night. I was like, oh my God, Death Becomes Her, because I watched the Globes way late.
Yeah.
But then when I saw Death Becomes Her was have you seen Death Becomes Her?
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Best Meryl movie, Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
But like, that's the thing. It's like, in many ways, yes, it is. Because
she was unbelievable.
we were talking about this before, where there are a lot of people who just have one Meryl movie that they love the most. And it's probably tonally completely different from something that someone else loves. It's not. She's definitely not a one-note performer.
Ones. Defending Your Life, She-Devil. Remember her in She-Devil
Defending Your Life
versus Kramer versus Kramer. Sophie's Choice.
She won an Oscar for it. Yeah. But for Donald Trump to call Meryl Streep overrated was probably the dumbest thing I have heard in 2017. You may not, Donald. You may not have agreed with what she said. Fine, you're entitled to have your opinion, but to say she's overrated, and to the speech, so nuanced. I mean, from talking about where a lot of actors are from and then tying it in with, it was just brilliant. Brilliant. It was, I mean, the Golden Globes have become kind of like a shit show over the last couple of years, but that was an amazing moment.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's important to note, she never mentioned Donald Trump by name, which I have to think was sort of strategic.
So she might have been talking about someone else.
She could have, I mean, we all know who she was talking about, but for him to say that she was attacking him is absolutely a mischaracterization of what was said. And I think anyone that watched the speech would know that. But she did point out the incidents where he did mock a disabled reporter, and for him to say on Twitter that for the 100th time I didn't mock him, I was showing him. No, you weren't showing him. You didn't toss to a clip of what he was doing. That would be showing him. You were doing an imitation of him, and then you were mocking his disability in doing so.
And
that's it's weird what the little warped world that he lives in, where Meryl Streep, who is nominated for 30 Golden Globes, and I don't even know how many Academy Awards, is overrated?
I know.
Well, that's the thing is, you can say a lot. There's something to be said for stars who make political speeches. Like, there's some times when it just veers into, oh my God, what do you know at all? This wasn't that. This was her specifically talking about, when he says, like, you don't know me, you don't have to know Donald Trump personally to make the statements that she made, because she grounded them in something an actor is an expert in, which is presentation of oneself to others. She said when he was on stage performing to people, performing the actions of a disabled reporter, it rubbed her the wrong way. And she backed it up with things about it that rubbed her the wrong way, which I think absolutely helped.
You're right, because too, and her whole point was about being empathetic, right? That's the best part, and everybody can learn from that. And whether you're a Donald Trump supporter or not, even if you are a Trump supporter and you hope that he's going to do well for our economy and all that, you can't say that he has not done some really shitty things over the past, I mean, we could go way back, but let's just talk about the past, election season. So you can definitely say that's not a good representation of what our president should be like. That's not the rhetoric that we want our president to be like. You can still support him for your other variety of reasons, but you have to admit that he needs to work on being more empathetic. He doesn't need to be on Twitter even the next day and then calling her names.
Yeah. And
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep, she's got no talent. She's been nominated for 30 awards, 30 Golden Globes. Absolutely.
But beyond that, the overall tone of her speech was, again, she didn't mention him by name. The tone of it was, let's talk about empathy, let's talk about compassion. And then she was celebrating some of the individuals of the many that were in the room that came from this variety of backgrounds.
Right.
So when people are saying, it was elitist, that Hollywood lives in this bubble, I think what she was sort of showcasing was just among the actors. And let's not even get into the carpenters, the electricians, the set designers, the other people that work in Hollywood, the union jobs that exist within Hollywood that, that don't exist within an elitist bubble. She was pointing out all the variety of backgrounds and all Tracy Ellis Ross used this phrase I thought was really good in her speech, colorful people of color and colorful people that are celebrated and that are, given a voice within Hollywood. And so if you're talking about this bubble, but actually look at all the different identities that are represented that, maybe are out of the comfort zone of what other people in the country are used to. I don't know.
No, it's absolutely right. That's exactly what she was doing, because there's a rift. People are trying to get normal folks who are voting for them, right? Normal folks. When you think of what normal is, you don't think of Hollywood bajillionaires who, eat kale, drink kale for breakfast, literally. So they are trying to make, not only in her speech, but in a pre-prepared video that ran coming back from commercials, was what is your first job?
Yes.
Trying to humanize these actors, which is a
great point.
Political move that they're trying to make in Hollywood to take away this attack that folks from the right have against Hollywood, which is being these detached weirdos who don't identify with the general population, and instead saying, no, I delivered papers when I first started.
Yeah, right.
I worked very hard. And look at the folks who wrote Moonlight.
Yeah.
Their story is ridiculous.
Right.
And I was telling you before, that's if you're a conservative, that's something you need to get behind.
Right,
Yeah, it's
right.
the black gay crack movie, but it is a film that shows people who came from a really shitty upbringing made it. Through hard work and dedication. You should absolutely get behind that, because those are regular people.
What I think we're going to see from the Trump supporters is that they're going to pin this on sort of the faces of Hollywood, which is really just such a small percentage of the jobs that exist within Hollywood. And just because Hollywood is, by and large, there's a lot of egos, there's a lot of problems within the entertainment community, but we are very uplifting and encouraging. And if you feel different or other, there is a platform for you. There's a voice for you. Be creative. Put yourself out there, and you will find a support, and you will find other people that identify with you. But beyond just the faces and just the Meryl Streeps and the Tom Hiddlestons and the names that again, there are union jobs. There are hardworking jobs that don't get the sort of credit that you see at these award shows that are still a part of this industry. So for you to say that it's Hollywood and it's elitist is just showing that you don't understand the industry that you're tearing down in the first place.
You're right. Believe me, there's a lot of history with that. And I also think that if you looked at, even when I retweeted Meryl Streep last night, I got some pushback from some people and that's the problem. When you support a candidate, it doesn't mean that you have to support everything they do. If you support Hillary Clinton, if you support Barack Obama, if you support Trump, you can still step back and say, you know what, I agree with this, but I don't agree with his rhetoric. I don't like when he called this person that name. I don't like when he mocked a disabled person. I don't like when he did that. So you can listen to Meryl Streep's speech and you can say, she's right about all this, but I'm still going to support him in this aspect. So I think people need to really stop being so extreme with their views, in the sense that when you support a candidate, you overlook some of the things that they do bad because you just want to support everything that they do.
Blindly follow.
And that's dangerous. You
Absolutely.
blindly follow.
Absolutely.
Right.
And also, a part of the speech that also got some heated press this morning was how Meryl said that mixed martial arts is not art. So a great example of how to be classy in a retweet, Steve Cocker, he's well known in the industry of mixed martial arts, said, hey, Meryl, why don't you come down and partake into what we do to get a better understanding of why mixed martial arts is actually an art, and these people train and work really hard the same way actors do.
You're absolutely right about that. No, you are same with athletes, you know, and I know that she's speaking of it more so as the arts versus athletics, but no, mixed martial arts. That's training from, I can't even imagine, hours and hours and hours a day for decades to get to the point where they are.
That's one of those things where she thought she had an awesome line, but didn't really think through what she was saying.
See, you can critique that. I love that. You love everything about her speech, but then you can still critique certain moments of it. You don't need to blindly love her entire speech.
That's a downfall of a lot of, I mean, Hillary, when she said the basket of deplorables, like it's kind of that line. I think what's worse is that she didn't realize that there's a whole group. She didn't humanize the people who like mixed martial arts. She thought it was a cool little tagline.
Right.
And with that inability to humanize them, she just kind of really extra diminished them as people.
You're right.
And that's not good. But I gotta support Meryl in this.
Oh yeah, she was amazing. She's gracious.
This is my new ringtone. This whole speech is my new ringtone.
I love too that she lost her voice, but she had such a powerful voice.
And the ending, calling out her friend Carrie Fisher, take your broken heart, make it art. I think is such it's a lot of people have some broken hearts. 2016 was a tough year, no matter what side you're on. In general, it was just a hard year. So I think that was a really good note to end on. If you're feeling a little hurt and downtrodden from whatever happened this past year, it's 2017 now, and let's make some art.
And how amazing was Viola Davis's speech in order to, what would you call it, in order to bring Meryl up? Yeah, the presenter, the introduction. That I got teary-eyed with. Wow. And just to see how big actresses like Viola Davis is so enthralled with Meryl Streep.
I mean, everyone is.
I know, but
she's so good.
That's amazing too, to know that they get nervous
Her
too.
name is synonymous with excellence. If all you have to say is Meryl, and you know who we're talking about.
Also, I just want to say, people always get really upset when stars use their platform to send a message, like Beyonce in the Super Bowl last year. But my whole thing is, if not now, when? I mean, Meryl Streep had a perfect opportunity, a captive audience, to say how she felt, and she's entitled to say how she feels. And I feel that nowadays, people are so sensitive. It's almost very sad that we have to edit and really think through our truest feelings because we don't want to offend somebody, or it might be taken out of context. And again, you should never ever want to intentionally hurt somebody, but it's just sad that we can't really be our true authentic selves for fear of saying something, saying the wrong thing, or it's very depressing, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Brett, you had a final thought too.
I was just gonna say that, like, for Viola Davis, she's there with two amazing actors who are like Meryl Streep and Denzel. And like, if I were to think of the two actors who are the best at what they do, and that's not just me saying it, but like everyone who's ever worked with them saying these are the most generous, talented, crazy good actors. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
She gets up from like, all right, Denzel, I'll be with you in a second. I'm gonna go introduce Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
And at the end of the day, again, her speech was about empathy. So I don't understand why there's some pushback today. But anyways, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. We'll see you next time on Pop Sugar.